It is April 2nd, folks, and this is a Lenten Rose in full bloom, and it's been in bloom for a couple weeks now. Hi folks, I'm landscape designer John Holden, and we're back at my house here in Newtown, Connecticut. Now last September I took a video of the house in the summer to kind of give you an idea of how things looked. I'd like to do a follow-up right now and show you how things are looking in early April. Now landscape design isn't really about creating a landscape at one moment in time. What we're trying to do is stretch our landscape out, stretch our interest out in the landscape through the season, so there's always something interesting to look at. So let me take you for a quick walk around the yard. It won't be as long as the last one, and just show you some of the things that I do to add interest at this early time of the year. So here's the entryway to our house, leading to the front door. Our Korean Stewartia over here does not have any foliage yet. However, it does have this beautiful exfoliating bark, which kept us going through the winter with some interest. We have some boxwood here. This is Vardar Valley boxwood. Gave us a nice evergreen look through the winter. And then we have some autumn joy sedum that is just starting to come up along the sidewalk. Moving over to the other side of the front yard. This hydrangea was in full bloom in September. Over the winter, I came out and trimmed it back, and it's going to have a beautiful flower again over the summer. Here is our border on the side of the property. We have some lovely daffodils coming up right now. We have a Japanese Katsura tree right there that is just getting its foliage. And then this is a Viburnum, which if we get up close to it, if you take a look there, you can see there are your flower buds. So another couple weeks, this Viburnum will be full of buds. And then moving over, here is our Dawn Redwood Metasequoia glyptostroboides with that beautiful laddered branch habit to it. And then moving around to the back of the house, here we have a plant called Lenten Rose. It is April 2nd, folks, and this is a Lenten Rose in full bloom, and it's been in bloom for a couple weeks now. So that's a good idea of what you can do to extend your landscape bloom and keep things interesting. Lenten Rose, I can't say enough about this plant. It's a very bulletproof plant. I've had no problems whatsoever with insects or pests. Very reliable performer. And then moving around the yard here, this tree got hit pretty hard by the snowstorm we had in October. I had to cut it back fairly severely. That's going to be fine. It'll grow some new growth. But then here we go. Here's our Cornelian Cherry. It has already bloomed. This bloomed, it was in full bloom a good 2 to 3 weeks ago. But that is a beautiful tree that gave us some very early season interest. Beneath the tree here, this is a ground cover called the Barren Strawberry. Maybe 3 more weeks, we will have some small yellow flowers on that. That'll also give us some nice interest. And then here is a crabapple tree. This is one of the trees we inherited with the house. I'm not really a huge fan of crabapples, but every year for about 2 weeks, this crabapple is just covered in white buds. It really does do a beautiful job of adding some interest. And then moving around, let me just back up for a second. I got a chance to come out and edge out the gardens last week. So let me just show you how nice the gardens look with the fresh edge on them. One of the best things you can do if you're looking to just have a nice manicured look to your grounds is cut a fresh edge. And of course, weed those gardens too. And then moving around to the back of the house, you can see we've got the Forsythia Hedge that we inherited with the house. Does a beautiful job giving us a backdrop there. And then looking over at the patio, we have some nice green grass. And again, folks, it's a very early spring. Today is April 1st, April 2nd, and look at how nice and green that grass is, very early. And then moving around the back of the house, let me pan over. So we have the Forsythia Hedge, and then there you can see we have those beautiful daffodils. I just took a video today about how I created that daffodil swath. You might want to see if you can find that. And then we'll move around to the back of the house. And just pan over one more time. I'm really enjoying that nice contrast of the green grass, that fresh spring green grass, and the nice dark soil in the gardens. And now we'll continue to move around to the back of the house. And what you're looking at over here is there's not all the leaves yet, but right behind the daffodils there's a viburnum hedge. In about a week that's going to be covered with foliage, and then in about 1 to 2 weeks we'll have some nice white flowers. Going to do a nice job again giving us that backdrop to the garden. And then this purple flower here is a PGM rhododendron that was an orphan from a job we did, and it really does, you know, it adds a nice bit of color there to the landscape. And I'm not really sure, it's very bright and bold for the landscape where we are. I'm not really sure if it wasn't an orphan if I would have put it there, but it definitely does do a nice job of adding some interest and some sparkle to the landscape. And there you go, there are those beautiful, absolutely gorgeous daffodils, which we've been looking out. Our kitchen window looks out to the backyard right here, and this is what we've been looking at, is these wonderful daffodils. And then over here is our stepping stone path, which is going to have some Hosta coming up. The Hosta is just starting to come up right now. Let me show you. Here are your Hosta plants right here. And in another couple weeks they should be starting to leaf out. And now we'll move around to the back of the house. This is an evergreen plant called Skimmia right here. It has had no pruning, and it has this beautiful compact habit to it. You can see right there, it is in bloom right now. And there's your flowers. And if you look in a little farther, you can see there are a few of the Skimmia berries in there as well. And then we will move around to the back of the house. And there is the Holzhausen I spent last winter building. It was a great way to keep in shape. And then here we are looking over at the side of the property. Again, I haven't really done any plantings back here yet, but there certainly is plenty of room when I decide to move forward to do some more work. Now on this side of the house, again, I haven't really done any planting out in this area. I would eventually like to put an oak leaf hydrangea right here where you're looking, and right over here. But I do have a plant here called a Japanese Kerria, or Karya Japonica. And if you take a look, you can see here we have some flower buds on the Karya Japonica. And I would say maybe less than a week, these should be covered in some flowers. They'll be about this big, yellow flowers, and they're just going to be a nice hedge of yellow flowers. And then they're going to turn into a green shrub. And I'd also like you to notice that this Karya Japonica is growing right underneath some giant maple trees. And it's a shrub that can really take a dry condition and a little bit of shade as well. I highly recommend that. And then looking over, here we are, we're back at the kids' play set again. And then there is the future site of who knows what, but some beautiful plants as time goes by. As always, folks, thank you for watching the video today. Now, if you live in the Newtown, Trumbull, or Shelton, Connecticut area and you need some help with your landscape design or landscape contracting, I hope you will give me a call.